Hey guys, it's Lazy, and in this video I want to share with you the single target damage setups that I'm currently running for my Spiral Volley. As you can see from the introductions, this setup is absolutely game changing. It allows me to kill T5 Zes, the highest difficulty boss, or pretty much any boss in the game, and that was 2-person HP. And frankly, carrying a full party of 6 people wouldn't be out of the question either, because this setup is using like a mechanics to compound the damage to infinity. So it can clear pinnacle boss of any difficulty without fail, as long as you can sustain or be tanky enough, which we definitely are in this current setups. You can kind of see I have about 4k ES and 1500 life, so yeah, we are quite tanky. My Spiral Volley build used to have pretty disappointing single target damage, and sniping is still clunky to use, so therefore like something needed to change. I had to find a solution that works, and the best part is you can also run the setups on literally any class or any Ascendancy, so if you see this video you can go ahead and put this into your build and it will solve your single target damage easily. I'll show you exactly how to do it in this video, plus I will also provide a final update to the Spiral Volley build that I'm playing right now. Now, I cannot take full credit for this discovery of this incredible setups. I briefly saw 2 of my Discord members talking about this tech, and I knew I had to try and mix it into my build to fix the single target damage problem. And then we also found out that the tech was actually discovered like a month ago, and I will link the discussions to the original threads of this. But anyway, it was found out, and I guess I just didn't know about it. The original way to do this was to do this on a Blood Mage, and it was the Rake and one-shot setups that Blood Mage are using. However, I kind of overlook the fact that I thought it has to be on a Blood Mage because they are using the elemental damage to scale the bleed magnitude. But I just didn't think about an interaction that was really broken, because you can use Impale to essentially store 30% of the pre-mitigate physical damage. But let's break down the rotation first. So we'll start with using Inferno Cry and then Rake. And you can kind of see that the first Rake only do about 100k damage. The reason why we are using Rake is because the skill have 100% chance to inflict bleed, and it has a way to scale more magnitude of bleeding inflicted much easier. And this is very important because we'll be using this bleed magnitude to scale our damage, so Rake is going to be the best skill for that. Once you see that the bleed has finally run out, you are going to use bloodhunt to consume that bleed or blood loss. As it says on the skills right here, you lunge to a target, skill them, and if the target has suffers from blood loss, it will cause a blood explosions, which also consume the bleeding. As it happens, bleed is a form of blood loss, which means that the skills will deal 25% of the consumed blood loss or bleed from Rake as additional unscalable physical attack damage. But that is not the broken part that is working as intended. The broken part comes when you add Impale support to Bloodhunt, and it says here that you support an attack, it calls them to inflict Impale on hit, but they cannot extract the Impale themselves. Okay, so what is Impale? Impale is a debuff that is inflicted by hit, which Bloodhunt is a hit, and it stores 30% of the pre-mitigation's physical hit damage of the impaling hit as magnitude. So the Bloodhunt hit is going to be stored 30% of that hit, which is 25% of the blood loss from the Rake is going to restore, so that subsequent attack hit against the impale target will extract that impale debuff, which means that subsequent Rake attack against the boss with the impale debuff is going to do more damage than the previous Rake attack, because it has the 30% pre-mitigated physical damage added to the hits, which means that it's going to do a bigger bleed, and bigger bleed mean bigger blood loss, and bigger blood loss mean bigger blood hunts. So every subsequent attack, you are going to do more and more damage, and it compounds on top of each other, which means that the skills will scale infinitely, and you can scale it all the way from like 100k, as you can see I do in the beginning, and I'm starting to do millions in damage now. And then yeah, so the rotation is very simple. You will use Infernal Cry whenever it is upped, and you will use Rake in combination with Infernal Cry to do more Rake damage. And you will use Bloodhunt whenever you see that bleed run out or you consume all the Impale debuff. Even on, I'll say, one divine setups for the single target damage, you can take down any pinnacle boss in about 6 Bloodhunt rotations without much issues as long as you can survive the fight. So yeah, exponentially scaling and compound damage is broken. Alright, so now that you see the build in actions, you see the setup in actions, you know the rotation, and you understand the logic behind it, let me show you the setups that you can run this on, again, any build, and all you need is going to be a Tangle Tongue Fork Spear. This is very important because, well, on Amazon at least, you can run this with accuracy rating, but the main thing here is it has really high crit scalings. So the higher crit chance you can get, the better it is, because we really want to crit when we are using Rake and Bloodhunt to the point where we want to get as close to 100% crit as possible. So yeah, you want to get a really high crit chance for Tangle Tongue Spear. It should be relatively cheap at this point if you're going for just one socket and high crits. So, and for the offhand, I'm using this to satisfy the strength and dexterity requirements because I don't have that on my gear. But if you want, you can use strength runes and stuff like that. Again, like you don't need crazy gear for this. So no need to get Sacred Flame, no need to get Wrath Pit or any crazy expensive items. All you need is going to be Tangle Tongue with high crit chance, which is why this is crazy good. The jam setup, so I'll say get 6 link, which is why it's going to be one divine setup, but if you cannot get 6 links, then you probably can get away with 5 link as well, and it is kind of crazy if you can do this on a 5 link, because 5 link is literally 1x right now, so you can run this on a 3x setup and the character. So yeah, Rake. For Rake, I am running Concentrated Effect for damage. Beep Cuts, I'll say Beep Cuts very important. It's give more magnitude for bleed, and because we want to scale bleed with the setups, you definitely want to have Beep Cuts. Calm Effect, Momentum because we are using Momentum, so whenever you are using Rake, you want to go back a little bit, and when you use Rex, you will close the gap and activate a Momentum and do more damage. There's Bullseye in here as well. Bullseye is for more accuracy rating. On Amazon specifically, it gives me accuracy rating in more crits. But if you have a 5 link setup, you can run Pinpoint Critical for more crit chance, and you can spec into more crit chance on the passive skill trees. So yeah, totally doable on a 5 link setup Rake. For Bloodhunt, I am against these level 19, 20 quality, nothing too special. You can easily get away with a lower level gem as well, as long as you can do damage. Each subsequent attack is going to do more damage than the previous one, so you can maybe do like a few more rotation than I am. But again, taking down pinnacle bosses should not be an issue as long as you have more and more Bloodhunt rotations on the boss. So in here, the most important setup is going to be Impale. In here, you want OO extend for more crit damage. Brutality. So Brutality in here, you probably don't want to use this on Blood Mage because you scale off elemental damage. But on every other Ascendancies in class, you can get away with Brutality because Impale just say here that you store 30% of pre-mitigation's physical hit damage as magnitude. So yeah, whatever, the more physical damage you do with Bloodhunt, the better it is. And Blindside is here, so if you can blind the targets, which right now I'm running a Solar Orb setups. This Solar Orb setups, I don't even use it in boss, so again, Blindside might not be needed as well, but inevitable critical, so you have more crit chance on this. You want to have almost 100% crits on both Rake and Bloodhunt. And Solar Orbs, Font of Rage, Eternal Flame, Magnifying Effect, and Blind. So this skill Pulse, give out the Pulse, and the Pulse can blind. So you can have blind and you can run blindsided. But that is pretty much it for the skill gem setups. So 3 of these and you can kill any pinnacle boss, and just the spear. I'm using the shields, you can too. And if you want more damage, you can add Sacred Flame, you can use whatever offhand that you prefer to use. You can use a Scepter that give you more energy shields. You can use Malice Scepter to give more crits. For the passive skill trees, so if you follow my build and you are using Spire Volley, I have kind of respec the build a little bit to give me even more defensive stats, because Spire Volley is just that good for mapping, so you don't have to worry about doing more damage, especially now that you have a really strong single target damage setups already, which means that, yeah, I'm taking all these ES notes, and arguably if you want to run CI, I choose not to run CI, but you have enough point even at level 92 to path over here and get chaos inoculations. I'm not gonna bother with that because I have already geared up myself to cap my chaos resistance, so yeah. But for the second weapon set itself, I'll say that the most important notes that you want to get, at least on my setup, is crit and ailment. So if you are in this part of the tree, definitely grab all the ailments and damage here, bleeds, crits, and so crits and magnitude bleeding you inflict with crits, so it scales really well, even like when you are doing no damage. But the stronger damage you do, the faster you are going to kill the boss. And all these notes are pretty good. And I'm also grabbing this note for Spear. It gives more crit damage bonus, more crit chance. Besides that, I don't think there's anything else you want to get. There's some crits over here. Weapon set 1 as well. I'll say that if you are not in this part of the tree and say you are over here, and there are like crit notes over here that you can get, there are some really strong ailments notes that you can get on the let me actually check it out, the damaging ailment. So yeah, this if you are in this part of the tree, say warrior, you definitely can grab these lasting trauma notes. These are extremely strong magnitude ailments note that you can get on this part of the trees, and beside the crits note over there. And if you are in the tree in near the blood mage area, you definitely just kind of follow the blood mage, and there are a lot of crit notes over here, and get crits over here as well. I can't really get them all, but maybe at the higher level I can. However, the build right now, I am focusing on a comfy mapping setup, so most of my point will be put into defense, where I can run juice map without much issue. So you can see that all the points I take are in energy shields and defense, and pretty much that's it. If you follow the written guide, basically I change up a few skill gems, but the main setup is still the same. Oh yeah, there's also Infernal Cry as well, which is you can use Infernal Cry with premeditations, Raging Cry for rage, ingenuity, and Rage War Cry as well. Consume Rage, do more damage, essentially buff your Rake damage. And just remember that the skills give you more damage, and also add the extra damage as fire. So you do really want to use it on Rake instead of bloodhunts, because you are using brutality here, so you would not be benefits from fully from Infernal Cries. So yeah, I think that's about it. Cover everything. If you are playing an attack build, all you need is going to be this particular setups. Slap on a Tangle Tongue, trying to scale crit, and you can probably do the same thing on any class or Ascendancies. Don't try this on a caster, because you don't have any attack damage, you don't have any crits, then you are going to have a bad time. But either way, hopefully it works out for you guys. Ask me any questions, come join my Discord as well. We do a lot of discussions in the build theory craft and stuff like that, if you are interested in that kind of things. But with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and see you next time.